I'm here with Sherry Serafini for Fire Mountain Gems and Beads. And Sherry, you're going to show us a really cool brooch slash pendant that we're going to make with some really pretty colors with cabochons and beading.
Yes. First thing we're going to do is glue a cabochon down to our beading medium. Now I've chosen turquoise.
It's a really cool stone to work with.
I absolutely love the turquoise, and I'll tell you why as we progress here. But the first thing you want to do is take your glue and glue it to the middle of your beading medium.
Okay.
Okay. Now you allow that to dry about 10 to 15 minutes, and that should be secured. Now our next step is to start back stitching.
Okay.
Now back stitching is a stitch that I use basically throughout this whole process, with the exception of the finishing. So the first thing we do is start back stitching 2 beads at a time.
Okay.
Now the reason that I use 2 beads at a time is so the beads lie flat against your beading medium.
Okay. Now, are those seed beads that you're using?
These are size 15 seed beads, and I'm using a bronze color.
Okay. And what about your thread? Any particular?
You know what, I always tell my students, whatever your preference is.
Okay.
Now, one thing I would like you to remember is to keep a single thread.
Okay.
Because you're making several passes through the beads. Now, to begin this stitch, this is the back stitch, knot and start at the back of your beading medium and come up to the front, string on 2 beads.
Okay.
I come back up through the 3rd bead, the bead right before the 2 that come on,
And then go back through it.
and pass back through that 3rd bead and the 2. And you keep going around the cabochon. Your goal is to follow the shape of the cabochon at this point. Just like that. Okay?
Right.
You continue around in that manner.
Great.
Now, the next thing you want to do is the fun part. You want to start embellishing. Now, since this is going to be a brooch and a pendant, you don't want to get too large with this, okay?
Right.
I like to keep them within 1.5 inches. Basically, throughout, I follow the shape of the cabochon, and I've chosen an 18 by 13, I believe this is, cabochon for this project.
So how many rows did you do with the bronze? Did you
Okay, with the bronze on this particular piece, I went around the cabochon 1 time, and then I went halfway. Now, this is a matter of preference. This is the design part of it.
Okay.
And now I've started picking up some larger beads in some different colors. Okay.
So now the color coordination comes into play.
The color coordination comes into play. Now, this looks like a turquoise, just turquoise cabochon, but if you look closely at the cab, in any cab, this is going to come into play.
It'll have matrix in it, yeah.
You can pull tones out. There's a bronzy color in the bottom of this cab. It reflects different shades and tones, and this is where I pull out my beads.
Yeah.
The bronze I chose because of that. And these bugle beads have a purple tone to them, which pulls out some of the colors on the side. Now, I address the larger beads exactly the same as the seed beads. I'm going to sew on a small turquoise bead, 4mm round, by going back down through the laces, keeping it snug against the other beads that I'm working with.
Okay.
Tight against there, and I go through that twice. I'm treating the larger beads as I would 2 small seed beads.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So it's 2 for 1.
Yes.
Or 1 for 2.
All right.
There you go.
You don't want that to happen.
Good.
Okay.
So you do those.
And travel around this way. And the bugle beads are stitched on exactly the same way.
Okay, so you're doing the same thing, just using different beads.
Using different beads, and this is where your interest comes in. This is where your design comes in. And I've just kind of did a, right here.
Yeah, we'll just slide this one over.
A very, very simple pattern. You don't have to get real busy because your cabochon speaks for itself. It's so beautiful on its own. You just want to enhance the stone. So I've enhanced that with different colors that pull the colors out of the stone. All right. So here's our finished piece.
Okay.
All right. Now from here,
so then you cut it out?
I cut it out. And here I've taken a pin back.
Okay.
You want to get a size pin back for whatever size brooch you've done.
Okay.
To go right at the top. If you're going to make this, if you decide you want to make this a pendant, you should keep the pin back a little bit closer to the top and inside. If you had the pin back that was too big, it would come out to the side. So this is about 1/2 inch.
Okay.
Okay. From here, I've made measurements
of your pin back.
Okay, and drawn little lines on there.
And that's ultra suede?
And this is ultra suede. And what I'm going to do is clip that. Clip these with the scissors.
Okay.
Just make little slits.
Yeah. And you can see we have it there like that too.
And right here, we've gone and we've adhered that to the back. Okay. You want to make sure it's the opposite side of the ink marks.
There you go.
Okay, so here we have the cabochon glued to the suede. Now,
Just cut it out,
cut it out.
just like we have here.
Okay,
Yeah.
and we move
Love that.
along. Now the finishing is very important. I use a picot stitch on this, and this is easy, but it's very important because this is what sandwiches your layers together. You're pulling your ultra suede up against your beading medium. I'm going to pick up 2 beads, go down through both layers,
So you're
pull
kind
the
of
bead
attaching
snug,
it
and
together.
come up through the last bead added. And you
Great.
continue around in that manner, creating a picot.
Perfect.
Okay? Now,
So what I like what you did here is this is the finished project there, but then if you want to dazzle it a little bit, you can see, you could just add
yes,
that
now
on
here
there.
all I've done is take a double thread. I've added a turquoise drop,
Right.
which enhances this stone.
Okay.
And then what I do is I thread these through a couple of the picot
Yeah.
points on the bottom.
And then this is the way that you add the bail to it, correct?
Yes, okay. The bail gets added by opening the pin back
And just sliding that on.
and sliding it on.
Perfect.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much, Sherry. Now let's take a look at some of these other beautiful pieces. And Tammy is going to be coming up next.